We're going to be taking notes today called Exponent's Power Rule. Exponent's Power Rule. We're going to write down the essential question. What is the difference between product rule and power rule? So let's start with a quick review of that product rule. Let's go and write that down. Review. Here's our product rule. And we're also going to review the quotient rule. We have product rule and quotient rule. And our product rule, that is when we add the exponents. When we add the exponents. Quotient rule is when we subtract the exponents. So product rules, we add the exponents. EXP for exponents. Quotient rule is where we subtract them. So for instance, if you had something like number 1 here, x to the 6th times by x to the 3rd. To break it down, there are 6 x's here, and there are 3 x's here. They're just condensed into small exponents. So then if there's 6 and 3, that means that total there is 9. So x to the 9, that's the product rule. Now, let's do another one here. What happens if we have something like this? 3k to the 4th times by 7k to the 5th. So this is a little bit different because we have the coefficient. So what I want us to focus on is the exponents first. So k to the 4th and k to the 5th, k to the 4th and k to the 5th. So that's regular product rule. So regular product rule says, well, these two numbers, I can combine these and I get k to the 9th. That's product rule. I can add my exponents. The 4 plus the 5 is the 9. Now these other numbers here in front, these have a special name. Go ahead and write this down. These guys are called a coefficient. A coefficient is just a number in front of a variable. Those are coefficients, a number in front of a variable. Those ones act like regular numbers, and so we're still just going to multiply these two. We're still going to multiply because multiplying is what we're doing, and so these two numbers still get multiplied. 3 times 7 is 21. 21. So the rule there, multiply coefficients, and we're still going to add exponents. Multiply coefficients, and then we're still going to add exponents. Go ahead and write that down. Multiply coefficients, and we're still going to add coefficients. All right. And the quotient rule, number 3. Quotient rule is simple. X over 8, x over 6. That says that we're going to divide these two numbers. Divide these two expressions, and these numbers actually, the exponents actually subtract. So 8 minus 6, that's just simply x squared, because we talked about them canceling out yesterday. And so we get x squared. In the same way, let's say you had a problem that was 8a to the 5th over 2a to the 3rd. In the same way we did number 2, these two numbers, these two here are still the quotient rule. We're still going to use the quotient rule. So in our new fraction, we still get a squared. There's still 2 a's on top. After we cancel, there's 5 on top, 3 on the bottom, cancel them out, 2 a's left over on top. Now these numbers, just like before, remember the coefficient, this is dividing, so I'm still going to divide these numbers. And 8 divided by 2 is 4. And everything else got canceled out on the bottom, so it's just 1's down there. So we get 4a squared. 4a squared. So that's the product rule and quotient rule. A little bit expanded on that with coefficients, but the same idea. Coefficients are still they follow the whatever operation it is. So this one, we're going to divide coefficients. And then we're still going to subtract exponents. Subtract exponents, good. All right, draw a line. Let's go over some new content real quick. So here is the power rule, and it's called the power rule. And you'll see here we're on number 5. It's called the power rule because you're taking an exponent, a number that has an exponent, and you're raising it to another exponent. And here's the key here. Here's the number 1 key. Look for an exponent right outside of parentheses. Look for an exponent right outside of parentheses. So this parentheses with an exponent on the outside has that exponent right next to it. This is always power rule. So your brain should automatically think this is power rule. Power rule. Now we're going to expand it out like we did and see if we can come up with a shortcut. So what this means is I'm taking x to the third and I'm multiplying it by itself 4 times. I'm multiplying itself 4 times. So I'm going to do x to the third times by x to the third times by x to the third times by x to the third. So it's x to the third. I'm doing that 4 times. So I expanded it out, but I can expand it out even more because this is 3x's. Let me draw that out. This is 3x's times by this one has 3x's times by this one has 3x's times by this one has 3x's. So I have 3x's 4 times. So I have 1, 2, 3 x's here, 4, 5, 6 x's here, 7, 8, 9 x's here, 10, 11, 12. So x to the 12th is your answer. X to the 12th is your answer. And I'm sure some of you already see the shortcut already, but I have to ask the question, how can I go from the question, the problem, straight to the answer with skipping all of the work part? What's the shortcut? What's the shortcut? Look here, what do I do with these numbers? Good, the shortcut is when I have a power to a power, I multiply the exponents. Go and write that down. When I have a power to a power, I multiply the exponents. When I have a power to a power, I multiply the exponent. So let's try some here. Number 6. Let's say a to the second, all that to the 5th power. Good, I'll give you a little bit of time. Go ahead and try this one. Good, and we just multiply exponents and we get a to the 10th, a to the 10th. Number 7. Watch what happens here. A to the second, b to the third. And let's do all of that to the 4th power. 4th power. That one might look a little trickier. Go ahead and take a minute. Try this one. See if you can get it. All right, now this one, I'm going to expand it out to show you, but this means, let me erase the parentheses, a squared b to the third times by a squared b to the third times by a squared b to the third times by a squared b to the third. So we have all these here. And now let me highlight all the a squareds, a squared, a squared, a squared, a squared. So total, that gives me a to the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, a to the 8th. And then b to the third, b to the third, b to the third, b to the third. There's 4 of them because, again, there's exponent of 4. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So b to the 12, b to the 12. So a shortcut, even when you have multiple, is to multiply here. 4 times 2, that gives me my 8. And then we have 4 times 3, and 4 times 3 gives me 12. So you multiply the exponent on the outside to every exponent on the inside. Every exponent on the inside. A little note there. Multiply outside exponent to every exponent on the inside. Multiply outside exponent to every exponent on the inside. Go ahead and write that down. All right, we have 2 more examples, and then we're going to be done for today. Number 8, 3x to the 4th. 3x to the 4th, and we're going to raise that to the 2nd power. Now, multiply outside exponent. I'm going to circle that outside exponent. Go ahead and circle that with me. And we're going to multiply that to every exponent on the inside. So it gets multiplied to the exponent, which is 4. So I know I have x to the 4 times 2 is 8. Now, here's the big mistake. Students take the 2 and they multiply it by the 3 and they get 6. But 3 is not an exponent. What's the invisible exponent of the 3? It has an invisible 1. Remember, an invisible 1. So you're actually going to take that 2 and multiply it by 1. I still have my 3. I still have that base. That base just comes over. But 2 times 1, that gives me my 2 times 1 is 2. So 3 squared x to the 8th. 3 squared x to the 8th. And you could do a little simplifying there. 3 squared is 3 times 3. 3 times 3 is 9. So 9x to the 8th. 9x to the 8th. Good. All right. Try number 9. Try this one on your own. 3x squared to the 3rd. 3x squared to the 3rd. Go ahead and take a minute. Try this one. Good. You should have gotten 3 to the 3rd times by x to the 6th. Because 3 times 2 is 6. And 3 times the invisible 1 is 3. And 3 to the 3rd. 3 to the 3rd, that equals 3 times 3 times 3 times 3, which 3 times 3 is 9. 9 times 3 is 27x to the 6. Good. 27x to the 6. Now, the reflection question says this. What is the difference between product rule and power rule? The difference is that the power rule has an exponent right outside of the parentheses. Good, going to write that down. And those will conclude our notes for today.